Hey everyone, this is Chris, but my friends call me Stones. Thanks for checking out my channel, and thanks for checking out my latest video. Wanted to show off here really quick everything that I picked up today at the Goodwill outlet. I did it a little bit different today, and I really came out with a lot of good stuff. So I wanted to show you this and kind of also talk about and to prove a point, and I've talked about this before. So during the winter, when there's no yard sales or garage sales, I've talked in my past videos about how I go to the Goodwill outlet at least once every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, sometimes multiple times on those same days. And sometimes I'll sneak out there on other days. Basically, long story short, I'm out there multiple times, but at least one time on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And then I do a rotation of normal thrift stores, mainly on Tuesdays and some other days. But I frequent the Goodwill outlet the most often throughout the week. And if you don't know what the Goodwill outlet is, it's basically where they push everything out in bins and they sell everything by the pound. They don't have unique prices for each individual item, but everything's sold by the pound. And supposedly, this is all merchandise that sat in a normal Goodwill store and didn't sell. So after a certain amount of time, the manager or whatever, the employee, the staff gets rid of it, sends it off to this Goodwill outlet to be sold by the pound, and then after there, who knows where it goes. I think it just gets thrown away. So I went on Monday. I went 3 times on Monday, which I think is the first time this year that I went 3 times in one day. I normally don't go 3 times. If I do go multiple times, it's only twice. But I went 3 times on Monday and I walked out with nothing every time. I found a few things here and there, enough that I could just literally hold in one hand, but it just wasn't enough for me to stand in line, pay for it, weigh it, all that different stuff. Basically, the amount of stuff that I found from each trip on Monday, each trip of 3 trips, probably would have weighed total less than a pound. So that's how very little I found on Monday. And it was frustrating and kind of depressing. But again, I've said it before, you have to keep on going. You're not always going to find gold every time. You're not always going to come home with a bag full of stuff. And you just have to go by its frequency. It's a numbers game. The more often you go, the better chance you have at finding stuff. And this proves my point because technically, I went there once, but I stayed for 2 rotations. So I went there for the 10 o'clock rotation, which is when I normally go. That's the first time I normally go, is at the 10 o'clock rotation. But I stuck around for the 11 o'clock rotation as well. And this is what I found. I spent $20 the first time, at technically $20.04. And then the second time I spent $12. So $32 total. And this is not everything. I actually have a bunch of other little knickknacks that I didn't feel like showing off. Plus, there's not enough room here. So I just want to show you the cool stuff that I found. So first of all, I found, I've talked about this before, melted popcorn plastic. This is an old vintage decoration, and these sell well. These come from like the 80s, late 70s, early 80s. I think in one of my last videos, I pulled a patriotic Santa Claus on a sleigh, which has a lot of followers right now. I think I have it listed for like $45. But these sell really well. Normally I find them at yard sales. I found quite a bit at yard sales last year, and they've all sold except for the Santa Claus that I just pulled out of the Goodwill outlet about a month ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that. But this Easter bunny rabbit will sell for about 20 bucks. He's not extremely valuable. It's your Halloween ones that are the most valuable, and then Christmas is second. So picked him up. Then I grabbed this surf style football. Now I didn't think much of this. Now I'm familiar with surf style. Surf style is a vintage kind of beachwear clothing company, surfwear, that was really popular in the 90s. And last year at a yard sale, I actually found a surf style, their classic windbreaker that they were known for. It's kind of iridescent in color, very 90s. I found one and I kept it for myself because I remember that time. So I saw this football sitting there and I'm like, that's unusual. And I looked this up, and I thought it was a brand new, like a promo football, but I couldn't find it anywhere. And there is no such thing as new surf style. They don't exist anymore. They don't make anything new. Everything they made was from the 90s. I looked up this football on eBay, cannot find any record of it. I used Terapeak later on, could not find any records of this. So I'm going to price it up and see what I can get for it. 30, maybe $40 for this. We'll see what I can do. And then this, I've known about these. I've never found one before. So the popular Vegas show, Blue Man Group, the guys that paint themselves with blue paint, and they play percussion instruments made by different other things like pipes and other materials and things like that. They have their own line of instruments. This particular one isn't worth a ton. Prices are all over the place on eBay, anywhere from $25 plus shipping on up to $50 plus shipping. I almost left it behind, but it's just too cool, and it does work because it went off on me when I grabbed it. So someone had it on the demo mode, so it started playing music, but it works. It's a little dirty. I got to clean it up, but I don't know. It's kind of fun. So the next thing I got were these My Little Pony. Now there's a few people that I've befriended over the years. Not over the years. I've only been going there for a year, but people that I see there that are regulars at the Goodwill outlet, and I've become friends with several of them. And some of them really know what I look for, and I look out for them. And this one particular lady, she kind of just goes there all the time looking for stuff for her kids, and her kids are into like Shopkins and Lego. So anytime I found that stuff, I would hand them over to her and stuff. So when I showed up this morning, she goes, "Oh, I found something for you." And she goes, I think these are vintage My Little Pony." And I took them from her, and I could tell they were not vintage based on how they feel. The vintage ones are very, very soft plastic. These were a harder plastic, but the body style is very much vintage My Little Pony. Now they've done other versions now where the body style, they're smaller, longer legs. There's a newer style of for My Little Pony, but these are definitely old style or original, what they call Gen 1, Generation 1 body style. And so I looked at them because what you're looking for the vintage ones is they'll say made in Hong Kong on the foot. If you look here really quickly, now you can see it says made in China, but what caught my eye was on the other foot or the other hoof, it says the Bridge Direct. And I didn't know what that was. So I looked up Bridge Direct My Little Pony. And what these are is a limited edition series of My Little Ponies that came out for the 35th anniversary of My Little Pony. And these things have value, even in used condition. They sell anywhere from $10 to $20 a piece in used condition. And she found me 6 of them. So I'm looking easily at $75 to $100 in value. I'll probably put them all together. So that was a really good find, and she was looking out for me, so that was cool. VHS, I still look through the VHS. There's a lot of people that go there looking through media. As soon as there's new media that's put out, there's about 5 guys that's what they'll go to first, and that's all they care about: CDs, DVDs, VHS, vinyl, cassettes, but typically they're not looking for the same things that I'm looking for. And I have found so much good stuff in the past that was worth money that they left behind. And I found these Autobahn Society VHS. They're new and sealed, and they're part of a series. And you can see here the retail was $29.99 or $28.99 on these things. And I looked these up, and in new condition, some of them have some value, some of them not so much. But I'm looking to get for the set of 4, maybe $40, free shipping, something like that. And then another thing that I decided to grab, one of the things that I do with the bins all the time is you see a lot of things of quantity. You see, and you might not see a bunch at the same time, but I will take them and bring them home and throw them in a box or throw them in a container. And depending on what the item is, once I have enough of them, then I'll finally list them on eBay. So I do this with McDonald's Happy Meal toys. I do this with Pez. I do this with Beyblade. I do this with My Little's Pet Shop. I do this with Imagine Next. I do this with a lot of different things. A lot of them are just normally toys, little knickknacks, um, you know, all sorts of things. Bakugan. You always find this type of stuff at the Goodwill outlet. And once I reach what I think is a threshold of a certain amount that I need to order to sell them, to get any interest on eBay, then I'll list them. And I always see Ryan's World. That's what these are, Ryan's World figures. I saw a bunch today and I was like, I'm going to grab those up and I'm just going to keep on getting them until I build up a nice big collection of them, and then I'll see what I can get for them. But for this many, it's probably not worth much, maybe 20 bucks. But I'm trying to look, like Peppa Pig. Paw Patrol is another one. But like Peppa Pig, you need like 40 of them. Paw Patrol, you need at least 25. So for Ryan's World, I'm thinking I'm going to need at least 20, 25, something like that. So once I get enough of these, we'll see what I can do with them. Maybe they won't sell. Maybe they will. I don't know. And then I found this big bag of these tops. Marvel Ultimate Spider-Man. There's about 20 packs of the Marvel Ultimate Spider-Man. And then there's about 5 packs of these Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Now, I forgot to weigh this, but this bag probably weighs less than 2 pounds. So I probably paid $2.50 for the whole bag. Surprisingly, you would think this is a mass-produced item. I could not find any of the Spider-Mans on eBay. I did a Terapeak search, and I did find one pack that sold with some Ultimate Spider-Man pencils for like 10 bucks or something like that. Somebody does have the Mickey Mouse ones listed. I think they have one pack listed for like $4 plus shipping. So basically about 8 bucks. What I'm planning on doing is creating lots of these, like maybe 2 packs of the Spider-Man, selling all 5 packs of the Mickey Mouse. I don't know. We'll give it a try. But, multiples for $2, $3, I'll take it. And then that other thing that the lady that was looking out for me, she actually pulled this out in front of me, and she goes, "Oh, here, you probably would like these better." So this is a big bag of Star Wars figures, and these are from 2004, so they're not old ones. But the cool thing about this bag of Star Wars figures is that they're mostly Jedi and Stormtroopers. So not all Star Wars has value, but if it does, it's more likely going to be a Jedi or a Stormtrooper. And this is a whole big bag of them. Some of them are missing weapons, their lightsabers, their guns. But I think there's some value here. If I put them together. For this bag, I'm thinking I can get at least 50 bucks, if not more. So, and then this is the big prize of the day. When I saw the tag on this, I just lost my breath, kept my composure, pulled it out. This is a Don Post Halloween mask. And the first thing that I saw was this tag. Famous Don Post Studios. Don Post is probably the #1 name when it comes to Halloween masks. And his vintage stuff from the 90s and 80s goes for big, big money. Now, this one's from 2004. As you can see right here. So not quite vintage, almost vintage. And when I looked this up, I could not find this when I zapped the barcode. I could not find this mask on eBay. So I came home, did some research on Terapeak. If you know what Terapeak is, it's a research tool on eBay that gives you past sales on an item further back. So it's a history of older sales on eBay. I looked and finally found one listing of this mask that sold in August of last year, so right before Halloween. It was in used condition, And I thought this was just a generic mask. Now the Don Post stuff that's like licensed, like Scream mask. He's made Friday the 13th mask. He's made um, things from Saw. Those licensed masks seem to go for hundreds of dollars. I thought this was just a generic creature, ugly monster, whatever. But this creature actually has a name, and it was something like Schweinwarten, which I think is like German for like pigwort. Like Schweinwarten is what it came up as. And it sold in September, used condition, for $90 plus shipping. There are no active listings currently on eBay, and definitely none with that's brand new with tags. So my rules when it comes to things new versus old, and when there's listings and not having listings, I'm looking at probably $200 for this thing. So with the tags, it being the only one, I'm going to list it for like $200. So, and again, this was definitely less than a pound, so I probably paid $1 for that, if that. So there you go. Goodwill outlet. People say that there's never stuff that you to be found there. You just got to keep on going. Again, Monday, 3 trips, walked out empty-handed each time. This is what I got from one trip or 2 rotations. I stayed there is basically what I did. And spent $32 total, and easily $32 for these videos. And this is not even everything that I got. I have a bunch of other stuff. I just didn't bring it out. So there you have it. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.